Hi, it's Portia here with Stitch Story, and today I want to show you guys the Alpine stitch. It's made up of single crochet, double crochet, and front post double crochet. Now together those stitches create a lovely raised texture with a beautiful twist. This stitch is comprised of a 4-row repeat, and I don't include the base row in there, and it's across any odd number of stitches. So what do we need to get started? We'll need some yarn. Any scrap yarn will do for the purposes of our swatch. We will need some scissors and then also a hook. For today's demonstration, I'm just using a regular size H hook. Let's jump right in. We are going to do our slip knot, and we are going to chain 17 for the purposes here. Remember I said we have to chain or start off with an odd number of stitches, so we're going to do 17. You know, when I think about this, I'm thinking it could be made as a pillow. If I used a finer yarn, smaller hook, I'm thinking a shawl. The possibilities are really endless with this. Even on the back side, it's super duper flat. So yeah, you could do most anything you like with this. All right, there we have our 17 stitches, and what we're going to do to get started is just do a double crochet in the third chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, and we're going to double crochet all the way down. All right, there we have our very first row. I call it our foundation row. We double crocheted across our chains, and that was 17 chains. And so in order to go into the next row, which is row 2, we are going to chain 1, and we are going to single crochet in each stitch. All right, that completed the second row. Oh, my ball almost got away from me there. So what we're going to do now is chain 2, and we're going to turn, and we are going to do 1 double crochet in the first stitch. And this is where our front post double crochet comes in at. So you see the stitch right here. We are going to do a double crochet in that stitch. So we are going to insert the hook from back to front. Gonna yarn over, and we pull it up. And now we want to not do this front post too tightly because we want the raised stitches and we want to feel the texture that the Alpine stitch creates. So we want to bring it up to this height, and then we yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over again, pull through the second 2 loops. And now there we have our first twist of the Alpine stitch. And now we are going to double crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to double crochet in the front post. So mind you, you notice we're ignoring the single crochet row here. We are skipping over that and going straight to the first set of double crochets that we made. We're pulling it up to the right height so that it's not too tight, and then we double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and let's go again. Front post double crochet, pull it up so it's not too tight. Okay, and now notice what's happening on the back side. If you can see that you'll begin to see that you're pretty much skipping the chain there, or the top of the stitch there, and to create the pattern, and it creates a flat back side like we saw earlier. And we're going to continue this same thing. Double crochet and front post double crochet in the row below all the way to the end, and our last stitch will be a double crochet, and we're going to finish that up, and I'll see you guys on the other side of that row. And here we are toward the end, or at the end rather, and we're going to just do a double crochet to complete that row. Now let's take a look at what we have. We have our twist going throughout. The back side is forming as flat, and we're going to continue. So we're just going to chain 1 on our 4th row, and we are going to single crochet all the way across. And you notice that the even rows would be considered the back side. All right, and our last single crochet. Moving on to the 5th row, we are going to chain 2, and on row 5 we are going to do 2 double crochet, and then we are going to look for the double crochet of the previous double crochet row. We're going to front post double crochet in that one. Remember, pull our stitches up to the correct height. All right, and then we're going to double crochet in the next stitch, and then front post double crochet, correct height, regular double crochet, all right, I'll see you on the other side. And now we are toward the end, and as we begin, it's going to be ending with 2 double crochet. Okay, so there we have it. Our first 5 rows are complete. You see our alpine twist on the row here, and then the next row up. And now honestly, all we're going to do is continue like in our swatch. We are going to repeat rows 2 through 5, and that gives us this beautiful, lovely twisted texture. And there we have it, a completed swatch in our alpine stitch. So my swatch turned out to be approximately 4.5 by 4.5. Depending upon your particular gauge, it may be smaller, it may be bigger. Because we're only doing a swatch, gauge is really not important. My key takeaways from this is, in order to keep track, I did realize that if I'm looking at the back, I can see the V of the double crochet, and then I could see the skip stitch there, the V, and it keeps going, so forth and so on, because there was times where I'm like, where was I? Or in the beginning of some rows, you realize you got 2 double crochets and then the front post stitch, and then some rows you got the 1 double crochet and then the front post stitch. So in that regard, I was able to keep track. Other than that, it was pretty easy to memorize. Those are the only, I would say, notes or takeaways I had on this. Anywho, let me know what you would do with this particular stitch by leaving it right down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already to Porcha Stitch Story. And until next time, peace.